Hello everyone, Carl Jones here. Welcome to all the Patreon subscribers. I'm here with the mandolin installment for Hickman's Rag, the tune of the month. And it's a great kind of a ragtime progression, so it's a lot of fun to play the chords too. And a great fiddler that was born back in 1889, lived till 1962. And from Tennessee, near Johnson City, Tennessee, Gray Station, Tennessee. And I guess it's still around, I hadn't checked, but wonderful fiddler and played in a group called the Hillbillies. And it's going to be a lot of fun to play the melody, but a lot of fun to play the chords too. So I'll play the melody for you first. And it's kind of it's in the key of C, and it just goes the chord wise, just so you kind of have that in mind while you listen to the melody. Is it goes from A to D to G and back to C. So a little ragtime walk from C to A. And the melody I'll play for you first there. Let's see. Here's my C. Oh, that's a fun tune to play. It's 3 parts, as you can see, and each part has the same chord, so that's a wonderful thing about it as well. And what I'm going to throw at you here on the chords is maybe doing it 3 different ways on the mandolin. I did the same thing for the guitar. So we're going to work the mandolin. I'm big on the 2-string chords, as most of you that know me already know that. Be it good or bad, but it's wonderful, I think. So I'm going to work the low strings on the first part, the middle strings on the middle part, and the high strings on the third part. So, and you could mix and match those any way you like, and you can stay all on one set if you like. But let's do the chords for a minute, and then we'll work on each part of the Hickman's Rag. Okay, so the first part, I'm going to start with a low, straight, just what I call a straight slant, or a big smoosh. You call it all kind of things. Call it what you like, but it's an A chord. And it's a droney, a really nice shape. And the name of the chord is in the bass, so that has a root bottom, I would call it. So we'll start with that A right there. And the nice thing about when you don't have open strings on the mandolin is you can get that little push up with your left finger, like let off the pressure, and get that little stop of the sound. You can control the sustain. So that's a nice thing about not having open strings. So we can kind of think about that as you hear me doing the chords. And then we're going to think about a couple of things about that shape that'll help you out in other tunes as you're backing them up. If you think about that low note, the main note of the chord, and go up 2 whole steps or 4 frets, so I'm on 2, so 6th fret, that's the middle of the chord. And now go back and do that bar and listen to the high note. If you want to do kind of a bluesy note, you can kind of think about a tune like Old Joe Clark or just a boogie woogie, just going up to that bluesy note, which is the 5th fret. So what I want to recommend for my little A chord is the bar 2 on the low strings. And the low strings, I mean the 4th and 3rd string, the G and D strings, open low strings. Middle will be the D and A. High strings will be A and E. So low, middle, and high. And one thing to think about right off the bat is getting more control. If you've done all the string strumming all the time, this will be a great exercise for you to be a little more precise with your you know, your right hand. So you get more precision with your right hand. Is a great thing. So I have that bar 2. I'm going to do a measure of that. Then I'm going to go down and I'm going to do what's called the teeny reach in my book is 6th fret in the bass and the 5th fret. And that's always bluesy. Okay, so I'm going to that little, that's a very bluesy A. So you got the straight 2nd fret, low strings, and then go to that 6 and 5 teeny reach. Okay, let's do that a few times just to practice that A, and you're really getting what they call an A7. Both A chords, but a nice kind of droning one and a bluesy one. And now let's look at the 7th fret to get that D unison there. That's a good tuning checkpoint on all the strings of the mandolin. So you have a 7th fret low, and the open string is the same note. But we're going to add, again, thinking about that, the root there is going to be the D. I'm going to go up 2 whole steps to the 4th fret there and add that, what I call a middle reach. So I've got 7 and 4, and I've got my 3rd finger and my 1st finger. So I'm going to do that. That's going to be a nice D. And again, let's put a bluesy note in there. And to do that this time, we're going to go back. It's going to be the teeny reach again, and it's going to be 1 fret lower than we had before, 5 and 4. So let's try that a few times. So I got the 7th fret, and keeping my 1st finger stationary on the 4th fret, and then going back to that teeny reach on 5. Pretty fun. So I'm going to do the A again. A, bar 2, 6 and 5. Now the D, 7 and 4. And then put that 5th fret. Nice. Then we're going to go to a small slant. I'm putting the G here, and another great mandolin thing is an octave. Open low string in the 5th fret. But we're going to put that, again, if we know where that root is, that's got the root, the open G string. We know if we're doing a G chord. Go up 2 whole steps, put that 4th fret and 5th fret there. There's your nice major chord with the name of your chord, or the root on the high string. And we're going to, again, guess what? Put the teeny reach. It's going to be 1 more fret back. So we get a G, a nice G, and a G7, or bluesy G. And then we're going to go to a C, middle reach, just like our D on 7 and 4. It's going to be back a whole step to 5 and 2. So let me just play that. That's my low suggestion for the first part of Hickman's Rag. So bar 2, and then that 6 and 5 teeny reach, middle reach 7 and 4, teeny reach on 5 and 4, and a small slant 4 and 5, teeny reach on 4 and 3, and the middle reach C, 5 and 2. And here we can walk that ragtime walk. Bar 2, teeny reach, D, middle reach, 5th fret, teeny reach, small slant, and just listen to the sound. And the C chord. You could even, one more time, first part. Do 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 do. Huh? So now let's move to the middle strings and do the same progression. I'll give you a little bit, and one thing that I will point out, that's an amazing thing about the mandolin. There's many amazing things about the mandolin, and one of them is that when I do a teeny reach on the low strings, like say I'm going to do that, I'll go back to the A I had there on the 6th fret and the 5th fret. Okay, if I continue, it's kind of like a leapfrog or a tag team, however you want to think about it. If I think about that's 6 and 5 in the bass. If I think about the 5th fret and just go over 1 more and put a teeny reach on the middle strings, 5 and 4, that's still going to be a nice A blues. And if I do the same thing again, 5 and 4, I go to the high strings with 4 and 3. So you get a nice diagonal slice of the blues there. So listen to it one time. High strings, 3 and 4. And then I'll just do a little tag team. My first finger move over to 4 and 5. Middle string. And again, just tag team, first finger and 6. So that's a good thing just to notice because we can utilize that as we change our string set. It's pretty cool. So low strings, 6 and 5, same chord, 5 and 4 middle, and then 4 and 3, all A. And one last thing that'll help us, I think, because you're going to have kind of two shapes. When I'm on the high strings, I'll go back to that small slant, you know, like we did for the G low, and then put the teeny reach in there, right? So the 5 for the root there, you hear that root, and you put the bluesy note. And then we're going to go to the 4 and 5. And then what you're going to have to do is the middle reach, 7, and just like we did the D earlier, you'll put the bluesy note in the bass. Right? And then we go back to that small slant. anyway, don't get me started. Let's go to the middle part here. Let's do a droney A. I'm going to do that little second fret middle strings now. Droney A on the second fret with the open A string. And then I'm going to go up to that bluesy note, just doing that droney. We'll stay droney a little bit here. So 2 to 5 with the open A second string. Then we'll go back to our same maneuver, that 4 and 5 small slant, and put the bluesy note on the high string. Let's try that again. Middle part, 5th fret bluesy in the bass, small slant, and the bluesy note. Then I'm going to go to that middle reach G right across from C and put the bluesy note in the bass. And a C chord, small slant. That's pretty cool. Now I can do a little walk on the 2nd fret, open 2nd string, 5th fret low, 4 and 5, D chord, bluesy teeny reach on 3, right, G middle reach, teeny reach on 2, C chord, small slant. And I'm going to keep moving. That's the second part. Same chords though, sound very different. The high strings, we'll do something a little different. We'll just kind of stay focused on the bluesy, that little teeny reach, and do a little bouncy thing. So say I go up to that 4th fret and add the little teeny reach and do a little like a. So I'm just picking that up with the open string and getting a nice major sound, but also the bluesy note. That again, old Joe Clark's in there. You can't get rid of old Joe Clark if you're playing the blues. And I think he was a blues master, old Joe Clark. Some say he was 250 years old, and I guess if you live that long, you get pretty good at whatever you're doing there. So here's that high strings with so just that up to the 4th fret, but then I'm putting the teeny reach in on the 3rd fret, so it's 4 and 3 on the high string, and just pick it up and make up your own rhythm. Then we're going to go back a fret to the teeny reach for the D chord, and back up to the 1 more fret, the 1st fret, and then a C chord. Maybe we might travel all the way down. Again, 4 and 3 with a bounce, 3 and 2. 1st fret, 2nd fret. Some kind of C. Cool. Okay, we may revisit that, but let's get into the melody there so we can get all those parts going. So the first part starts up on the A chords arrived and the back up. It's the first chord of the tune basically there. So you have that, you're working that 5 and 3 and open. So I'll do that a few times. So it's just the first string got 3 notes, and then you're working that 5th and 4th fret with the open string. So 5, 3, open, 3, 5, 3, open. Then you go to the 2nd string, 5, 4, open, and climb back up. And I might do a slide to that unison, talking about the 7th fret as your tuning checkpoint. I'll do that a few times. 1, 2, first phrase. Maybe a slide. Yeah. 1, 2, here we go. And a slide. One more time. Yeah, that sounds great. So the next phrase is going to go to middle reach. Once you get these shapes going, and you may call them something different. I've always called them slants and reaches. It's just the 5th fret and the 2nd fret on the 1st string. It's the high strings. And we're going to work that. So a lot of back and forth. 2, 1, and you pick up your first finger and get a little back to that, 1, 2 string wise. So. And that's kind of a syncopated thing. And you go back to the high string, open, and put the first finger back down, back and forth, open again, and put it back down. I'll do it a few times. You'll get it by ear better than me describing it probably. And the fiddler, I think, does a climb there, but we're going to leave that up to the fiddler. We're just going to go to that D chord. Maybe it'll slide. Over and over. Watch my pick direction is I've got down, right, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. So you can do it different ways. Usually the down beat would have a down pick often. So experiment, but try to keep your down picking on the down beat almost 9 times out of 10, if not all the time, and that works pretty good. Let's do those two phrases together. 1, 2, first phrase. That middle reach D. Again. Great, now we're going to climb up to a G. Right, so it's just it's out of the top of the scale up to the summit of the G scale. And a little embellishment. Just try to get that by ear a few times. 1, 2, go. One more time. Then you keep going with and again, you're outlining one of those shapes. You know, that's the thing about those shapes, getting used to some kind of thing you can always refer to, that the middle reach is in there. When you play your phrases or your melodies, you're outlining those shapes all the time, because that's just the way the notes of the chord line up and the scale falls into place. So that second little part of that is a little slide from 1 to 2, and getting the 5th fret on the 2nd string, back the way you came to open, and that G. So those two phrases, the G phrase is like, yeah, 1, 2, go. And the bluesy slide, 1, 2, down to G. One last time, here we go. Then we're going up to a C. Small slants kind of featured if you want to do a chord. Something like that. So G phrase, little pause, slide, up to C, middle strings, and the high strings. The whole first part. D, high strings, G phrase, slidey, C, middle strings, and the high. It repeats. A little early. D. G phrase. Different ending here. It goes, let's see. I guess it is the same phrase. One thing about this tune, it's got different little endings, so you got to be careful not to fall into the mix-up train, which I almost did, but I caught myself. Let's go to the second part. It's pretty fun. We're sliding on the middle strings, and a really good advantage is just getting used to where the melody's falling and where you can reinforce the melody. You know, thinking either the low strings or the middle or the high helps you in that respect too. So I'm going to be sliding to the 7th fret and hitting that drone twice. Again, the tuning checkpoint, maybe from the 5th fret. Hit it twice, and then you're going to have the 2nd string A and the 5th fret G. And I'm going to go up I'm going to stay on the 2nd string and do this little 8th fret and the 7th fret. So slide the 7 twice, and then that open A string with the 5th fret and the 8, 7. Cool. Again. Cool. And then we're going to go, so a little phrase there. So I'll do those again slower. Slide the 5th fret and the 8, 7 with a little syncopation, D chord. One more time. That's fun. One last time. Slide 8, 7, the D chord. And that's just hitting that D chord again, picking up the first finger, put it back down. Time on that D phrase. Then we're going to do a little small slant G on the high string, but a little scoot. So it's got a little strummy thing we can do. That can vary a little bit. You're featuring that first string. And then we're going to go to a C note, 3rd fret, 2nd string, and our little finger's going to reach up an octave to 8 because we're going to do a little scale descension. So it's going to be So I'll do that G phrase and that little C turnaround. That's halfway through the second part. So a little slower, and you could hit that little small slant C in the middle, but you got to get up that 8. So you know, if you can scoot quick, that's good. Or if you just want to use your first and middle finger and just do the notes, is fine too. So the G phrase, syncopate, and the C note scale. And you're going to be sliding again. A, 7 to D, bouncing back. G. Here's where you have the different ending. It's going to be, so E, that 7th fret, twice, 5, 3, open, all on the second string, and a C chord. So here's the whole second part. G, the syncopation, the C scale. Repeat. Different ending. Beautiful. Again, the chords were the same. That A, you know, the same old thing. A, D, G, and back to C. Now the last part gets up into the that A note. We're going to go up the 2 whole steps. We're getting good at thinking of where the middle note of the chord is, if you know where the bottom of the chord is. So the 5th fret kind of becomes a feature of the start with a droney second string. So I'll do that a few times. That makes people kind of wake up if they almost were falling asleep while they were listening to you play. So open second. We're going to work that 5 and 4 3 times. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. You're really hitting that A 4 times, I guess. Then up to that 2 whole steps. So 5 plus 4 is 9. Here it is again. And you could use the 3rd finger. I think I'd use my 2nd finger on the A, and first back and forth, and then scoot my 3rd finger to that 9th fret. Okay? And this is a fun D phrase that comes after this. So it varies that D phrase each time, which is pretty cool. So you can scoot a little bit, that slide again, that bluesy slide from 1 to 2, and you're working that 5th fret. Just try that a few times. That's just working all 3 notes of the D chord with a little bluesy slide to the middle note. Yeah. So the first wave is that droney back and forth. Try it a few times. Drone first. 9th fret, D phrase. This time we're kind of back to the same G kind of small slant. But this time we're going to go up to that, again, the G's going up 2 whole steps. So we're getting a lot of cool leaping, you know how to move in the chord. So we got the small slant G and working that same kind of thing you did in the A, back and forth a little bit. I'm kind of barring behind it, the small slant with a little bar behind it. And up to 7. And here's the big finishing phrase. It's 8 with my little finger, 5, right? And I guess I would go 8, 5, 3, and move to the 2nd string because you can get a little slide to 7. So it's, and you could go open. That would sound good too. The thing about open strings or fretting the string is you have a little more even tone if you fret all the notes sometimes. So it's just the jazz players in particular would like that, and the bluegrass players sometimes don't want to always have so much ringing or sustain. So here's the whole 3rd part. We're coming in the final stretch here. So the whole 3rd part has that drone, 9th fret, D phrase. And I'm doing a big slant there, 5 and 7, before I do my C phrase. And I'm going to do a little 3 and 5 here. third part. One more time. 9. The whole tune slow one time for you to wind up with. So Hickman's rag in the key of C, but it really gets that ragtime progression going. Great to play the chords to and great to play the melody with. And if you got a strong fiddler, it's fun to play the melody with them, but you'll find some fiddlers like the melody coming in there with them, and some of them would rather have a good strong chord. So you'll be ready for either one. So pay attention to your fiddlers and see what they kind of want, and you'll all be, you know, teaming up in a wonderful way and be compatible with just making the best sounds you can. And you'll be ready for any direction. So here's the whole melody I'll wind up with of Hickman's Rag. So nice and slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hickman's Rag, a great tune, and thanks for tuning in, and enjoy your mandolins, and check out all the videos and play along, and we sure appreciate you subscribing to Patreon. Thanks a bunch.